Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, YouTube TV price hike coming soon, or just an error in an ad. We'll tell you what's happening there. Paramount's looking at massive cuts when the new owners take over to its cable networks, both in staffing and in the number of original content that's being produced for these cable networks, along with some of the big ones like their CBS network and MTV. Also, MSNBC's president looking to step down. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First though, if you want to find any of these stories and read the stories for yourself, I'll put a link to each story we talk about in the show notes and in the first pinned comment down below. If you're new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or hitting that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so YouTube recommends our videos to more people. It helps us, and hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows that you enjoy. With that said, let's dive into it. All right, YouTube TV price hike. Now, Verizon and YouTube TV have a joint partnership that allows Verizon's Fios service to sell YouTube TV direct to its customers, bill it through that, and maintain it. It's not the only company that has a similar deal with YouTube TV, but one of the larger. Now, Michael Saves spotted this, and it's actually something I've kind of found that's been around for a while now. It makes me believe that this is probably a glitch, but in the ads, they say that you can get an introductory price for YouTube TV if you subscribe through them at a discounted rate, but then when the discounted rate is over, it'll be the full price of $82.99. Problem with that, the current price of YouTube TV is $72.99. Now, this is actually, it seems not new after we posted this story and crediting Michael Saves on that. Best we can see on this, it looks like Verizon Fios has had that little text in the disclaimer of their ads for some time now. Make me wonder if that's a typo. We have reached out to Google and YouTube for requests for comment. And so far, no one has replied to our request for comment on it. Big thing here. Would it surprise me if a price hike is happening? No. The cost of this content is skyrocketing. And of course, there's higher employee costs as time goes on. But also, there's everything that goes into making content right now is becoming more expensive. Gas, wood, all this stuff we've seen in the last 5 years, dramatic price hikes. It's actually been quite some time since we've seen a YouTube TV price hike. And other services like Sling TV, Hulu, Fubo, and DirecTV Stream have all also raised their price since then. We'll keep a close eye on this. If it happens, we'll have full coverage here. For now, though, I would just continue to enjoy YouTube TV as it is and worry about a potential price hike if it actually does happen. But it is kind of strange, though, that this ad has been around for quite some time now with that message that once your introductory rate through Fios ends, it'll go to a full price of $82.99, leaving many to wonder if that's a typo. All right, Paramount's getting close to finalizing its deal with Skydance. Now, there's still a lot of hurdles, a lot of things between here and there that would see Skydance Media and Paramount merge into a single company and Skydance take over day-to-day operations of Paramount. Now, according to Bloomberg, with this, they intend to make major cuts to MTV, CBS, and more, invest in Paramount Plus. Interestingly, though, they look at cutting the amount of original content in its cable networks, cutting staff in other areas. Not surprised. I've said this for a very long time. MTV is kind of high on my list of not the main network to shut down, but some of those smaller ones. MTV2. Why do we have an MTV2? The ratings don't look that great. There's others out there that struggle a lot too. Why is Paramount putting a lot of original content into this when their target demographic is increasingly on streaming? And so why not try to move them into Paramount Plus by putting more and more of that content on Paramount Plus? Now, they've been doing that slowly, but it sounds like once the new ownership of Paramount kind of finishes it and the new CEO takes over, that's going to become a major part of Paramount's strategy. Cut back on cable networks, invest in streaming. Something I think going forward we're going to see many cable networks do in the near future. We'll have to keep a close eye on this, but look for the amount of original programming going to cable networks to continue to decline in 2025 as investments in streaming grow. All right, let's keep moving along. MSNBC has seen its ratings plummet in the second half now that the big election is over. And with that, it's being reported that the president of MSNBC is reportedly looking to leave the network. A big shakeup here, and some people have said this is kind of jumping ship on a sinking boat. It doesn't surprise me. For one, it's a very tough time to run a cable network with ad revenue being way down. For two, there's a major shakeup happening in the world of news as increasingly people are leaving cable networks and moving to all kinds of new ways to get news through social media, YouTube on videos like this one, and others. We've seen a growing trend of major cable news stars leave cable news for streaming platforms or launching their own. I know a lot of people don't like Tucker Carlson, but he has successfully launched his own news organization on his own. Chris Wallace, I hope I'm saying that right, from CNN, he's leaving CNN and launching his own podcast. We're seeing those trends become more and more popular as things like the Young Turks and others grow with the change in how people are accessing news. Increasingly, people are not willing to pay for paywalls for most people to get their news. There's a few exceptions, especially in the world of finance and business, where especially investors and stuff who are willing to pay for some early looks, some breaking news that may affect their stocks and how they trade the stocks. Those areas that are still continue to get revenue, but getting generic everyday news about weather and streaming services and the like, it's been pretty clear that people do not seem to be willing to pay for that. They would rather find a different free way. And it wouldn't surprise me to find more major news media figures who are on things like cable networks try to branch off and build their own following and their own streaming service, cutting out the profits for the cable company and getting them all themselves. So keep an eye on that. All right, next story up, we have an update to a story that happened last week about AT&T shutting down its DSL and traditional phone line as it tries to dismantle its copper out there. Now, with that, at the time, they kind of talked a little bit about, fiber and 5G home internet replacing that. Well, it turns out that for millions of people, AT&T has no plans to bring fiber to them. Instead, they will replace their traditional DSL copper lines with 5G home internet. What's happening here is they're rolling the expense of running fiber out to these very rural areas to not be worth it. We've talked about this many times. If I'm in a major city, I run a mile of fiber, I could probably connect multiple clients, maybe a dozen or more in a suburb. But if I go into rural America, maybe I'm running a couple miles to connect 2-3 customers. The cost of return on that is very difficult to justify the expenses on it. And because that, AT&T seems to be investing in its 5G home internet plans called AT&T Air instead of running fiber to them. We'll see how that all plays out, but for now, keep an eye on AT&T's DSL shutdown. It'll be interesting to see how many of those markets get fiber and how many of them actually get DSL's replacement of 5G home internet. All right, if you're a Max subscriber, good news if you're a fan of classic movies. Turner Classic Movies section inside Max is going to expand its presence with hundreds of new classic movies. Turner Classic Movies, widely popular channel still to this day because it airs great or classic content that sometimes it's hard to find in other spots and other streaming services. Well, now increasingly a lot of that's being moved over to Max to attract people. It's been one of the big complaints about Max is even though they have Warner Bros. Discovery owns Turner Classic Movies, a lot of that content wasn't on its streaming service. And now it seems that they're fixing that problem later this month and will be continuing to expand its collection of classic movies on Max going forward. And last story, I get this question a lot. Why is this service that looks questionable or that service that looks questionable being allowed to continue to run when it doesn't appear to be legal? And for a lot of times, it just came down to somebody taking the time to actually pursue them. Well, now in the end of 2024, media companies are investing millions and millions of dollars to shut down piracy. It's one of those whack-a-mole games. But in a day and age where media companies are suddenly losing money, stopping piracy has suddenly become a massive, important issue to them. Look for the major giants behind media to spend millions to stop piracy in 2025. We've seen already early returns on this. Several of the largest piracy streaming operations in the world have been shut down by police raids and arresting people. Again, we're long past the phase of civil cases here. Media companies have successfully got criminal laws passed, or laws that will make criminal to do this stuff, not just civil, in an attempt to throw these people in jail for long periods of time. Sometimes some of these people are looking at 20 plus years in jail for running pirate operations. Look for that to become more and more common. Piracy is a major issue in media companies. As they lose money, they're looking to stop it. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care. Be safe. I hope you have a great day. Hey, quick question for everybody. How did you find out about us? Was it from our site? I'm kind of interested. Did you find out about Core Cars News from YouTube and subscribe to us here, or were you a follower of our site and then found out we had a YouTube channel? Or did it go the other way? Follow us on YouTube and suddenly discover we have a site and follow us there. Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Well, that's it for today. Take care. Be safe. I'll talk to you all again real soon.